Hello, my name is Bonnie Burke, and I currently work for Workforce Resource. Today's presentation is entitled Manufacturing 101. I'm really excited to talk about manufacturing today with you because that's my background. I worked in manufacturing for about 26 years, and I'll give you some more information about my career in manufacturing as we go through the material today. So everyone should have in front of you some handouts. The first handout that I'd like to reference is just your note page. I really encourage you to follow along, write down at a minimum 1 or 2 pieces of information that you have learned from the presentation that you would like to remember, that you could refer back to when you're doing job search and also when you are doing an interview. I also have a handout for manufacturing terminology along with the definitions of those terms. Every single industry has its own language, and if you've never worked in manufacturing before, hopefully this handout will allow you to be able to speak some of the words that I know that you will hear in an interview or the first day of your job. And then also I've printed out for you an occupational report, and Workforce Resource has the license to a software called EMSI, or Economic Modeling System. So if you would like additional information, someone at the Job Center can print that for you. So we will talk about that as we go through the material today. So the purpose of today's training, what I really hope to accomplish is that upon the completion of this workshop today, you will be more familiar with some of the various careers in manufacturing. From my personal experience, I believe that manufacturing has really gotten a bad rap since the recession. In 2008, I actually had lost my job after working in manufacturing for this one employer for 13 years. However, I was not the only person that was affected by the recession. Hundreds and probably thousands of people in manufacturing were displaced or permanently lost their jobs. However, manufacturing is coming back, and it's coming back with a roar. And so today I want to tell you about some of the careers that are hot in manufacturing. We'll talk about some of the training that's required, and then also, so what do these people make, right? We all work for that paycheck. So a little bit about manufacturing and me. When I started in manufacturing, I was a painter, I was a forklift driver, I was a machine operator / and then also a machine setup technician. Right. Can you see me? My shirt had little blue pinstripes. My name was on my pocket. I wore my head hard. My tools were on my hip. Did I know what I was doing? Absolutely not. But it was so much to learn. It was so exciting. And every day after work, I went home and I literally passed out on the couch. My children have some very funny pictures of their mother covered in grease and sleeping. Yet it was a job that paid extremely well. I learned so much. I set up the waters, the pneumatics, the hydraulics. I dropped in huge dies into these presses using an overhead crane. And every day I said a little prayer that I wasn't going to kill myself nor someone else. It was that time in manufacturing, however, that I really became interested in safety. Do you believe that I stood in between these 2 platens and the machine was not locked out? We had no idea what lockout tagout even was. Maybe they did, but I didn't. There were so many other things that really told my stomach, this needs to be better, this needs to be improved, someone could get hurt. So as a molding technician, I would go to my supervisor and say, you're having me drive this forklift? I've never driven one of those before. And so in the meantime, I was making a Bonnie, you need to find this information out list, which actually encouraged me to finish my degree that I had worked on for maybe 4 years already. It took me 11 years to graduate from UW-Stout, and you can do it too. So some of the careers that we're going to talk about today actually do require maybe a 1-year, 2-year, or even a 4-year degree. Yet, if I could do it, anyone can do it, trust me. The other part of my occupation in manufacturing was I was an industrial painter. I worked on third shift. I am not a night person. I would have to leave work at 10:30 in the evening, I would get to work and magically wake up. I would put on this huge respirator. I looked like a frog out of water. And for 10 hours every night, I would paint liquid copper, liquid nickel, liquid zinc, and then I'd clean all my parts in this huge tub of methyl ethyl ketone. Oh my gosh, I kept thinking, am I gonna die or what? And thankfully, I didn't. Thankfully, I'm fine, my health is fine from all of that, and I've learned so much from those experiences. And so, manufacturing is all of the crazy things that I just talked about, but also very exciting. The technology that is out there is just amazing. The administrative jobs, if your interests are more in the office setting, there are so many positions that I want to share with you today. So with manufacturing, it really is just a process of taking raw materials, and in our case, when I worked in plastic injection molding, it was oil to make the plastic, which we molded into parts. The most challenging job that I ever had to produce was actually caskets for infants. So in addition to that, we made valves for hearts. We made very intricate components for computers. It was never ending, the amount of parts that we made that affected people's lives on a really large scale and sometimes on a really little scale too. And that actually was my favorite part of manufacturing, when I got to set up the very little machines. Some of them I could carry the dies in the palms of my hand instead of dropping them down with this big old crane. So with that, one of the websites that have just recently been created that I want to share with you today is called Gold Collar Careers. And you might be thinking, gold collar? We've heard of white collar, we've heard of blue collar, but yes, manufacturing is the new cool, and it is now called Gold Collar Careers. So the website actually is amazing. It will have videos on there, and my favorite video is actually from a woman who worked in manufacturing. She was I don't remember exactly what her job title was, yet she decided to go back to technical school. So she graduated from Chippewa Valley Technical College with a degree in welding. Her job now is she is a supervisor in a welding department, and she programs robotic welding. Pretty cool, right, girls? Because I so encourage women, such as the welder and such as myself, to really look at those non-traditional roles. Trust me, they pay better, and those jobs are really in hot demand. And so I would really encourage you to spend some time on the website called Gold Collar Careers. So I'm going to pause a second here, and I'm going to bring the website up, because the piece of this website that I feel that a lot of people are extremely interested in is on the very homepage. It lists the different careers that I've kind of given you a tickler about so far. For example, welders and this information is from the state of Wisconsin. So on a medium wage in Wisconsin, a welder makes $39,000 a year. Not bad, right? A person with a degree in mechanical design, $50,000, still pretty good. A person with a degree in as a machine tool operator, $39,000. And for those of you who would like more administrative type positions, accountants, and the accounting field in manufacturing is wide open, from a cost analyst to a plant controller. But as a cost analyst, a payroll accountant, the median wage is $34,000. Typically, that's with a 1 or 2 year degree at a technical college. The other positions, if you're like, well, you know, that's okay money, Bonnie, yet where's the big money? The big money in manufacturing is actually the operations managers. The median wage for an operations manager in the state of Wisconsin is $103,000. Pretty decent amount of money, right? A ton of responsibility. A position, to be honest with you, I wouldn't want to hold, yet if you have leadership skills and if you have drive and passion for manufacturing, really consider looking into that field. The job demand is at a peak that I've not seen before. The other position that I think is really interesting is in technology. So for those IT folks, those information technology people in manufacturing, the median wage is $73,000. Pretty good, right? A lot of companies will pay your tuition. It's called a tuition reimbursement. And so if you complete your degree while you are working for them, most of the time they require you to have a fair grade point average of C or above, and then they also would expect you to be employed with them for a minimum amount of time, and each employer is different. So if you're thinking, oh, how can I afford school, or oh, I don't really know if I can do this or not, definitely check out employers that offer tuition reimbursement. In manufacturing, my job for a while is I worked in human resources for a small period of time after I graduated. Median wage there is $47,000. After human resources, remember all those safety concerns I had? Well, I studied, took a few classes at Stout, don't have my master's degree, however, and became authorized as an OSHA instructor. And so my fears, my concerns were all made legitimate when I went back to school and learned, what does OSHA want you to be doing? They definitely want you to lock out that press when you're standing in between those planons. And so as a safety manager, my job was safety, environmental, and health. It was very demanding, especially the day I would get a call from the receptionist to say, Bonnie, OSHA's here. Oh my gosh. Talk about instant sweat. Yet I had worked super hard, and one of the classes that I will be offering during this workshop series is safety in manufacturing. So we had some OSHA visits where we'd maybe had 1 violation. We also had an OSHA visit where I had 0 violations. Were we perfect? Absolutely not. Did I schmooze? Absolutely yes. I can schmooze just as well as the next person can. Yet, I felt our programs were amazing, and after a period of about 5 years, it didn't happen overnight, our injuries were minimal, and that to me was the main reason and my excitement of working in safety. The average safety person in manufacturing makes roughly between $65,000 to $75,000 a year in Minnesota. So fairly decent income is there as well. So please check out this website called Gold Collar Careers, and an organization called Manufacturing Works will be continuing to update it and offer services for students, for schools, and also for manufacturers. So I showed you a few job titles on the Gold Collar Careers website, but some of the other job titles that are available in manufacturing are entry-level assemblers. As an entry-level person, you may operate a machine, you may build specific parts, you could package parts. Another cool position that we didn't talk about was quality assurance. Quality in manufacturing is critical. If a company does not meet those customer demands, those customer requirements, trust me, that customer is going to go elsewhere. And so to have a training background and passion for quality, definitely look at that field. Production associates are oftentimes another job title for entry-level employees, I should say, and then also machine fabricators. Some of the manufacturers in the area where I live, which is in Barron County, and I work in Polk County, it is amazing the number of manufacturers just in those 2 counties. So if you live in Eau Claire or Chippewa, up there by Superior, ask them at your job center to give you a list of manufacturers in your area. The first time I saw those lists, I was truly amazed by all the employers and job opportunities now with those employers. So what do they do? If you've never worked in manufacturing, you may have seen some movies about manufacturing or, heard from a brother or a sister or a father what they do. But yet, without a really good understanding, you may be a little bit hesitant to apply, especially, like I said earlier, the reputation of manufacturing from the recession really, I feel, had gotten a bad rap. People had lost their jobs. And as a result, especially young people who are in high school and then looking to go on to a college or a two-year program, maybe never even consider careers in manufacturing because of the recession and that reputation. So the website that I really encourage you to spend some time on is called O-Net, O-N-E-T, net, and it is amazing. You can put in any occupation, such as we will put on team assemblers. And so O-Net will tell you all of the average tasks and job responsibilities of a team assembler. It will tell you what tools that you'd be working with, what education is required, and also, once again, my favorite part, what do they make per hour? What's the average wage? And so with O-Net, you could look up human resources, you can look up welders, fabricators, any occupation that you want to get additional information, and very powerful website. So between O-Net and the EMSI report that I mentioned earlier, you would be able to look at what do these positions do? What does the day in the life of a welder look like, so to speak? Another idea that a client that I was a case manager for gave me, and I was so impressed that this worked. She wanted to know, what does an engineer do in manufacturing? She actually had received FAFSA, and she was going to go on to school. And so she called a manufacturer and she said, would it be all right if I could get a tour of your facility, because I'm really looking at a career as a mechanical engineer. Yet I've not seen firsthand for myself, what does a mechanical engineer do? And they said, yes. I was so happy for her. She got to job shadow, she got to spend an entire day at the facility with an engineer. After the end of her day, she said, you know what? That's really not for me. It's not what I thought it was going to be. Yet how amazing of an experience that she was able to make that decision before she invested time and money in a career that emotionally she was not comfortable with. Now, I'm not saying all manufacturers will do that. However, I have this theory in life, it does not hurt to ask. And for her, it was an amazing experience. And as it turned out, she did switch gears. She chose not to go on to college and does have a job that she enjoys and was much better fit for her. So some of the other careers that are available are maintenance positions. We've already talked a little bit about quality assurance. We've mentioned accounting, but then also sales. If you have a passion for sales, sales in manufacturing may be an occupation for you. If you love to travel, if you love to get out and meet people, and if your passion is selling, definitely think of manufacturing. Salespeople in manufacturing, their wages oftentimes, they receive bonuses based off of their annual sales. They get to travel oftentimes, throughout the United States, depending on the company as well. And it's a career that I've always admired because I'm not a salesperson. I know my heart would not be able to do that. The other position that we didn't talk about yet is supervisors in manufacturing. To be a supervisor in manufacturing oftentimes requires entry-level experience, that you have been there, done that, so to speak. because to get buy-in from your employees, they really need to know that you know how to do that job. Most technical colleges offer a 2-year degree in supervisory management. It is typically offered in the evening, and it's designed for people who are working. Supervisors in manufacturing, the wage is typically $50,000 to $60,000 a year. In north central Wisconsin, part of my career in manufacturing, I was a supervisor by default. We had a department that was failing. And my supervisor, and I'll call him Joe, Joe came to me one day and he said, Bonnie, you know a lot about processes, you know a lot about safety, you've been in manufacturing for years, this department is in chaos and I want you to fix it. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. He goes, no. And so not only do I want you to fix it, I want you to be the supervisor. Yes, I can do this. I lived in my camper, which was parked in the parking lot of this plant for an entire summer, because if we did not fix it, we were going to lose that customer. And it was, believe it or not, our only customer. So if we did not fix this process, there was going to be a lot of people walking to the unemployment line, so to speak. And I would not recommend that for anyone. The stress was insane, yet we did fix it. And it did take us all summer to do it. But it was exciting. It was, you learn so much, the people skills, working with those customers, working with maintenance, working with engineers. And so if you like that hands-on, out on the shop floor, fixing problems, definitely take a look at supervision. And then the other operators that I want to talk about is in high demand. It's actually computer numeric controlled programmers and operators. The machines in manufacturing are just amazing. A CNC operator and programmer, once again, is a 1 and sometimes a 2-year degree, and the things that you can make on a CNC will blow your mind. And so definitely, I think of my grandchildren, how much they love to be on their tablets and their computers and programming and making things work. And I'm like, whoa, those skills of those children playing those computer games can easily transfer into programming and running these amazing pieces of equipment. The other career that we've talked briefly about is engineering. There's manufacturing engineers, there's mechanical engineers, I don't remember all of them, but yet check on UW-Eau Claire, UW-Stout's website, and they offer the engineering programs that are in high demand right now in manufacturing. I don't think I have hit all of the careers that are available in manufacturing. However, check out Manufacturing Works and you will find anything that I may have missed. The one website also that I'm going to encourage you to look at is in that Manufacturing Works Gold Collar Career website. There's a tab about nanotechnology. The video in that tab is amazing. Nanotechnology? I've never heard of it before. I'm assuming from watching that video that it must be making extremely small parts. They may be medical parts, they may be electronic parts. It's an exciting new field that from my experience, it's quite new. So the handout that I gave you is the occupational report, and it's titled EMSI. I'm going to bring up my report and show you what those occupations look like according to this website. So I'm going to have to log in, and once again, EMSI is a website that requires a license. So if you would like to see more information on this website, you'll have to check with someone at the job centers and they will be able to help you. With EMSI, just like O-Net, you can research any occupation that you may be interested in. With O-Net, however, it's going to bring you information for the entire state of Wisconsin. Whereas on EMSI, you can look for information from Eau Claire County, just Chippewa County, just Barron County. And it's going to tell you where the jobs are. It's going to tell you what education's required, what the demand is for those jobs within the next 5 years. And it's going to give you also a description of where the schools are, what that job does, and what's the average age of the person who works in that field? What's the average gender? So any information, I believe on the handout that I gave you, it talks about some of the positions that we have already mentioned, such as welder, CNC programmers. I put a total of 4 or 5 occupations on that handout for you. That way you could see exactly what information is available from that website. So I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint here, and the other website that I would encourage you to spend some time on, and I really hope that everybody has a login and password for this site, is the Job Center of Wisconsin. The Job Center of Wisconsin website is amazing. You can use this for job searching, you can use this to put your resume on there, and every single day they publish really important and interesting articles on careers and job searching. They also have a feature called, they feature specific industries. And on the Job Center of Wisconsin's featured industry is manufacturing. There is such a high demand right now in manufacturing that there's a whole portion of this website geared just to manufacturing. You know, what is the hot news? What are the manufacturing related jobs? Why the manufacturing industry? And the other piece that I was so excited to see is there was a whole section on apprenticeships. Now, apprenticeships are something that is not new. We've had apprenticeships for many years. However, for myself, I had not heard of apprenticeship programs 5 years ago, maybe even 10 years ago. An apprenticeship program to me would be amazing, where you work for an employer, at the same time you learn a skill. I think of it as a plumber who starts at entry level. I think of it as an electrician who starts as entry level. So manufacturing has several apprenticeship related programs that are available as well. And then of course the other pieces that they talk about on this website, Job Center Wisconsin, they feature specific employers, which I feel is exciting. And it is different industries that are needing employees, I should say, because the jobs I've already talked about are in high demand. And to prove that, on the Job Center of Wisconsin's website, I really challenge you to do a job search for manufacturing jobs in your area. And I bet you will find way more job openings than you ever imagined in the state of Wisconsin or even in your county. So I'm not going to go to that piece of the website during our presentation, yet if you would like to visit that site or need problems or need help setting up a username and password, I so encourage you to stop at the Resource Center or to the front desk when you leave today, and someone there will be able to help you. If not today, they'll be able to set up a time to meet with you to show you how to use that website and how to create a username and password. So I've showed you quite a few websites today. I know that can be a challenge for people who do not have a computer at home. And that's where I really encourage you to spend time at the job centers. We're open 8 to 4:30. If that doesn't fit your schedule, there's always the library. They're open evenings and weekends as well. So the next slide that I wanted to show you briefly is what is happening to the field of quality inspectors. This website has a graph, and it starts in 2012. It is projecting a 12% increase in jobs as a quality inspector within the next 12 years. This occupation is just rising more and more. In Chippewa Valley Technical College, they offer a 2-year program. No, I take that back. They actually offer a small program, not a 2-year program, as a quality assurance person. At WITC, there is not a program yet in quality, yet they have several classes that they offer, not degrees in that field. I wanted to go back to that quality inspector for a second. The average wage is $17.36 per hour. And at the high end, it's $25 an hour. Not a bad wage, right? They inspect, they get to learn several different pieces of amazing equipment. They get to learn to use blueprints, and they have the power to say, run this part, or no, stop the presses. So it's an important position. We have a workshop that I will be offering later on the importance of quality in manufacturing. So I hope that you will be able to attend that workshop as well. One of the other tools that I have for you today is a list of different manufacturers. The only 2 counties that I've had the time to create the list for are Polk County and Barron County. Yet, once again, if you want a list similar to this, feel free to ask them at your job center. The other websites that I want to show you are some hot employers. The first one is at 3M in Menominee. Well, most of you know that 3M has been around for many, many years. 3M is an international organization. They've been extremely successful. They have made everything from Post-it notes, don't you just love them, to seals that you put around your windows to keep the cold out in the winter time. 3M's closest location is in Menominee. They may have other locations that I'm not aware of. However, you'll be able to find all of them and their job openings and the different products that they make on their website. I had a friend who retired from 3M after almost 30 years with them. The places that he got to travel to, the things that he got to experience, I was just amazed. Talking to him, I think someone needs to write this down in a book, The Adventures of 3M, because for him, he was able to make an amazing income to support his family. His wife, because of that, was able to be a stay-at-home mom. You don't hear of that too often. Yet they did have to move because, like I said, 3M has companies all over the United States and also overseas. So if you like companies that are huge, where you may have an opportunity to travel, opportunity to see the world, definitely look at that website. Another closer to my home company that I wanted to feature was Capco. And Capco is in Osceola, Wisconsin. Capco also has multiple locations. The location that I'm the most familiar with is the one in Osceola, which is physically right next to Polaris. Capco is unbelievable. They make parts for the snowmobiles and for the four-wheelers at Polaris. So that's why geographically they're located so close. Their website, I love it because it talks about their careers, their openings, their other locations, and there is a really fun video. So I will have you just click on watch our video on their website's homepage and really get to experience what Capco does. Now, I am not 18 years old anymore, as you can tell. So I do know that when videos are made, people are at their best. They've cleaned, they have shined, they've picked up the house, right? However, it's still the processes that I'm excited about. Manufacturing can be dirty. Manufacturing can be hot. Manufacturing can be like me at the end of the day, going home with grease all over your clothes and fall asleep on the couch from exhaustion. Yet, I hope that you'll spend some time on their website and on some of the other manufacturers' websites and watch their videos to get a better understanding of some of the machines and some of their processes. So I've talked a little bit about 3M, a little bit about Capco. The other manufacturer that I want to feature in today's workshop is Lake Country Dairy in Turtle Lake. After I had lost my job, it was 10 months, and I still did not have a new job. Part of that was my own fault. I had really wanted to find a job that was not in manufacturing. Remember, I'd worked there 20-some years, and I wanted to do something different. After 10 months, there wasn't anything different out there. So after 10 months, I was able to accept a position at a manufacturing facility that manufactures food. Wow, is there a lot to learn. Food manufacturing is completely different than manufacturing of car parts, electronic parts, and it was amazing. And besides, every time I got hungry, there were snacks readily available right off the manufacturing line. Yet manufacturing food, the difference is the quality standards. Since 9/11, food quality has become a hot topic in our government. They really have believed if something's going to happen from a terrorist attack, what more likely place to target besides food manufacturing? So because of that concern, they have created quality standards called HACCP, Hazard Analysis of Critical Control Points. The first time when I interviewed, I walked into the facility in their break room and I looked down and there's mice traps along the wall. I'm like, what's up with this? You guys have mice? It's all part of their HACCP program. And so any food that they receive into their docks has to be inspected, has to be measured, weighed, tested to ensure that it's safe, especially because we're from Wisconsin. Some of the hot food manufacturing, of course, is cheese. We all love cheese. Beer, don't forget about beer. And pizza manufacturing. Nestle's and Eau Claire, they make baby formula. So food manufacturing is definitely an area that I encourage you to look at as well. So we've talked about KAPCO, I've talked about 3M, Lake Country Dairy. My next slide is going to show you some of the different products that are made in manufacturing. For me, that was the fun part. What am I making? Where is this bought? How does the consumer use it? Well, we all know that at Polaris, they make four-wheelers, they make snowmobiles, but did you also know that they make motorcycles? They make the Indian motorcycle. Pretty cool. At KAPCO next door, they have these huge presses that make parts, like I said earlier, for Polaris. Another company in our area focuses only on medical components. There's another company in our area that makes ergonomic office equipment. And if you can't sit all day long, they can make you desks that can rise to your height, that can be lowered so you could sit. Electronics, there's clothes manufacturers in our area. There's also a manufacturer that I have a picture of, this huge piece of farm equipment, and that's called Oxbow, which is in Polk County. Oxbow sends that equipment all over the world. Just the department to prepare that equipment for shipping is amazing. Because can you imagine if you've just purchased a $200,000 harvester and now you have accepted it in China and it only has 3 wheels? That's a big problem. So shipping those parts, all the parts, is a very critical part of that company. Another company that I featured with a picture is called Home Shield. That's also in the area where I live. Home Shield makes wooden window components. Andersen Window is their #1 customer, and the wood, I actually have flooring in my house from them. I have trim from my windows and my doors from them. I have wainscoting, just beautiful wooden products that they manufacture in their Luck, Wisconsin location. And the other company in Chetek, Wisconsin is Core Manufacturing. They make the ergonomic pillows, the back supports, the wrist guards. I wish I knew more of some of the other manufacturers in some of the other counties. Eventually, I will add some of their information to our presentation as well. I wanted to feature just briefly a couple of the training opportunities that are available to acquire these careers. The first one is Chippewa Valley Technical College. It is an amazing school. Oftentimes these degrees are one, and if not, maybe a 2-year degree. Chippewa Valley Technical College has locations in Eau Claire, Chippewa Falls. I know they also have some satellite sites, and also a lot of their classes are offered online. WITC, or Wisconsin Indian Head Technical College, is in the Rice Lake location. They also have a school in Superior and other satellite sites. I encourage you to spend time on their websites and also go visit their campuses. Check out their classrooms, check out their teachers to see, will this be a good fit for you? Another opportunity for training that I wanted to share with everyone is in Eau Claire. We actually have a manufacturing training center. We have had 2 groups of students complete that program. On an average, I believe it's a 12-week program. I also teach there, so it's kind of fun. And at the end of that program, you are not guaranteed a job. However, you will have had some real hands-on experience in manufacturing. This next session is called Learn and Earn. Pretty cool. You get to do classes in the morning and you get to work in manufacturing in the afternoon. If you're enrolled in any of Workforce Resources programs, there may be an opportunity for you to do an on-the-job training at an employer. So if you have a case manager, I encourage you to talk with them, because the on-the-job training is amazing. With that relationship, Workforce Resource can help that employer pay for the extraordinary cost of training you in a skill that you may or may not have. So it's called on-the-job training. So from nuts to bolts to thingamajigs, manufacturing really is the new cool. I so encourage you to check out our website, The Gold Collar Career, talk to your case manager. If there's a company that you are really interested in, give them a call, see if they'll give you a tour. So part of the review that I have for you today, and on your note page, I would encourage you to, if you don't know it already, to look it up, to list at least 4 different manufacturers in your county. 4. And I would encourage you to do research on all 4 of those. What do they make? What are their hot jobs? What are they hiring for now? Who are their customers? And then also, I would encourage you to list a minimum of 2 to 4 careers that we talked about and do some additional research about those careers. Is this a job that's going to be with you for 5 years, 10 years? Chances are it's not. Because the rate of technology, the changing of technology is, I can't even get my head around it. But chances are, the job, if you would work in manufacturing today, that job may or may not even be there 7 years from now because of the technology changes. So if you are sitting and listening to this workshop today, I hope that doesn't give you some nerves or jitters. I hope what that does, though, is encourages you to be a lifelong learner. For our generations, we have to continue to learn. We have to continue to build our skills to change as fast as technology. Probably not, but at least to give it a good try. So my other question that I want you to think about is, why are careers in manufacturing called the new cool? Why are those careers now called gold collar careers? So I want you to jot that down on your note page, thinking, who would have ever thought manufacturing as gold collar careers? And then I also encourage you to look at some of the other websites that we mentioned. The Job Center of Wisconsin, the EMSI that someone from Workforce Resource can show you, and then the ONET website as well. I hope you've enjoyed today's presentation on Manufacturing 101. I encourage you to look further into careers in manufacturing, and I want to thank you so much for attending, and stay tuned to our schedule because we offer new workshops twice a week, and many workshops are continued on to the next week. And we also have some certificate programs that I'll be telling you about a little bit later on. So thank you very much and have a good day.